Battlefield 6's new Red Bull dirt bike event has gotten some pretty negative reactions in some parts of the community, but I think people are mixing up the trigger with the real cause because I don't think this event is actually the core issue. This mode was almost certainly planned well in advance. It's a sponsored thing, it ties into the dirt bikes which were already added with Season 2, and DICE was probably required to complete this either way, so I don't think the best criticism is they dropped everything this week to make this bike mode, but that doesn't make the backlash irrelevant either. If Battlefield 6 were in a much better state, I really don't think many people would care that much about this mode. Sure, some would still say it wasn't their thing, but it would probably just be treated as some sort of goofy side mode and nothing more. Instead, it's landing in a game where a lot of players already feel basic functions, consistency, and overall priorities are still not where they should be. And that is why I think the reaction is more of a symptom than the actual problem itself. There's a psychological bias known as the horn effect, where people already have a negative impression of something, so they start viewing everything around it through that negative lens. So even content that might be harmless or even fun on its own starts to feel worse because it's attached to a game that already has weak goodwill. So people aren't just seeing a dirt bike mode in this situation, they're seeing another reminder that Battlefield still feels off in areas they think matters more. So again, I don't think this event fully explains the response, but the response is telling us something bigger about the state of the game and people's disposition towards it. Because once a game gets into this kind of state, almost everything begins being filtered through an accumulated frustration. That's what makes this more interesting than just the Red Bull event bad. And I'm not necessarily disagreeing with the negative disposition here from a lot of people in the community. I also share some of these main concerns as well, because overall modes like this and the spotlight put on them communicates short-term spectacle in a game where a lot of us are still looking for stronger confidence in the long-term core experience. If modes like this were more of like a permanent side activity or sandbox addition, I think people could at least say, okay, this is one more thing the game now has, but when it's temporary, I think it feels a lot less meaningful in terms of support and more like a marketing beat or ploy. So to me, this Red Bull event is not really the disease itself, it's more like one of the symptoms. It's very revealing with how fragile player goodwill is at the moment for Battlefield, DICE, and EA. And that matters, because when a community is in this kind of a mood, even content that may have been shrugged off in a healthier game starts turning into a lightning rod. So no, I don't think this event is the main reason people are frustrated with Battlefield 6, but I do think it exposes how much frustration was already sitting there. And that's probably the bigger issue here that DICE should be paying attention to. But I'm curious, what do you think? Would this event have landed differently if Battlefield 6 were stronger at its core? Or do you think this kind of sponsored mode was always going to feel out of place in Battlefield? Be sure to let me know down in the comments below. I'll catch you on the next one. RAMTEID out.